What up, everyone? It's your boy, September Islands, the Reverend of the Revolution, welcoming you to another edition of the podcast, Your Daily Revolution, the podcast that helps you to wake up, turn your brain on, and to prosper every single day in every part of your life. Today's topic, win-win or no deal. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. By now, you understand that I'm a coach, a consultant, a mentor, a speaker, a trainer, an author, a podcast guy, whoop whoop. And in the course of the work that I do, even back to sales and recruiting and leading and teams, there's a principle that stands out amongst them all. Not my principle. I don't even think it belonged to Covey, but he's the one that coined the phrase win-win. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's one of the principles I teach and preach and live by, which is win-win is the only way to do business. It's the only way to live. What does this principle mean? Well, it's got to be a win for me, and the deal's got to be a win for the recipient. And if it's a win for me and a win for them, then it's a win for the community. It's either win-win or no deal. Now, why is this topic coming up? In the world of coaching, I make agreements with people who will pay me a sum of money for me to deliver and to give them some type of result, insight, perspective, distinction to help them move their life forward powerfully. Right? Short story is, they pay me, I coach them. And every once in a while, I will get someone who will make a decision and they will say, I'm in, coach. I'm in. Let's do this. Woo! And then what happens? 1 or 2 weeks later, they're really not in. They're really out. Now, whatever reason that they're not in, it's irrelevant to me. Why? Because that's their business. Whether they sign an agreement, a contract, whether they put a thumbprint down, it's irrelevant to me. How they live their life is them, because the principle that I live by is it's got to be a win-win. So if it's not a win for someone to work with me, then it's not a win for me. And if it's not a win for them, it's not a win for me, and I don't want to coach them. Doesn't matter what was agreed upon. I keep my word. And if it's not a win, it's not a win. So this came up today. I came up with one of my clients. This individual was like, I'm out, coach. I can't do it. And I told him, okay. I know we shook hands. I know we had an agreement. I know you signed the contract. But guess what? I don't need to hold you to that. Because if it's not a win for you, then it's not a win for me. And if it's not a win-win, then it's simply a no deal. Now, I want you to think about in your life, how often or how many times do you try to force the situation? Let's take a look. I want to start out with balance this time. Think about you as a family. If you're a father and you are a leader and the patriarch and leader of your home, father, husband, how many times do you try to force your children to do something that they cannot see the benefit to? Now, I get it. There's going to be times where they're not going to see the benefit. But how often do you simply create this win-lose situation? Win-lose is not attractive and it doesn't work. I've tried to do this with my boys. Sometimes I just, because I'm the adult and I'm the dad, I'm like, you're going to listen to me and you're going to do this now. And I'll threaten them. They can't play their Xbox. They're not going to get dessert. And I'm like, dude, that's really not a win-win. It's kind of a win-lose. Now, in the long run, it's going to help them. But can I communicate in a way that shows them the benefit and value? And can I influence and persuade them to want to clean their room, to want to do the chores? And I've made a lot of improvement in this area because I think win-win. With my marriage, same thing. Like my wife, we're on vacation right now, and she gets to go play basketball and volleyball with her home girls. And it's competitive ball. I think these girls would beat most dudes. Like former Division I players, ballers. And I know, like on these days, I've got calls, and yet we got the boys here, and what do we do? So I told my wife, look, go play. The win for you is I want you to be happy. I want you to have space. I will drop the boys off. I will cruise back to the house, and then I'll do the call, and I'll give you space to go be with yourself and your girls, and to just not have to worry about boys and feeding them breakfast. The whole night. I've got to find ways to create win-win with my body. Win-win. Right? What's the win in body? Do I exercise? Do I have nutrition? Do I find ways to win, not just for me, but for other people? And this goes to another one of the principles of the revolution. The purpose of existence is expansion and value creation. So if I'm looking to create value for other people and my brain is turned on because in a free marketplace, I know that dollars follow value. Well, what happens is I'm looking to create wins for other people. And if it's not a win for me, but it's a win for them, that means it's a no deal. There's so many deals I've done back in the mortgage days, even real estate and sales. It had to be a win. I remember selling security systems. And I only get paid when I sell and install a security system, home automation, smart home system. And I was very sincere. I would tell people, if it's not a win for you, then we don't want to do it. So it's got to be a win for you, but only you can determine that. So, and I'd show them as many benefits and many wins as possible why it made sense to have this. It's the same thing with my coaching, same thing with my programs and live events. So in your life, are you a win-win person? Or are you the selfish, self-focused, self-indulgent person who it's got to be a win for you first, and whether it's a win for other people doesn't matter. You can't win if you only are on the win-lose perspective. It doesn't work. See, a win-win mentality comes from the abundant mentality, this prosperous mentality, meaning that there's more than enough. There's not just one way to do this. There's more than enough, right? There's this deep sense of like, I love myself. And it's a world where there's plenty and there's enough for everybody. There's not a lack of resources. There's no scarcity of money and opportunity. When someone steps into scarcity, it's never a win-win, ever. The game of scarcity is win-lose, because what scarcity says is, if you make money, that means I lose, I don't make money. And in scarcity, you're only looking to see if someone loses, which you think it means that you win, which is not even true. So consider this. If you are not playing by the win-win, you're really losing in life, and life is too short to not win. And by win, well, not necessarily saying you got to beat someone else. I'm not even talking about a sport. I'm just saying, as simple as it may sound, can you look to create value and wins for other people? That's what the revolution's about. The revolution's always been about looking at your life as a contributor, not a taker, and looking to create more value for more people, and in turn knowing that karma, the marketplace, the universe, will reward the value that you put out with value returned. I know your life will change the moment you start to look at instances as, how do I create a win? I remember recruiting guys to go knock doors with me. I recruited guys in their 50s and like 19-year-olds to follow me to Texas, follow me to New Mexico, go to Iowa, go to California, go on these preseason trips, and then go knock a full summer of knocking doors 6 days a week. That was a grind. And I would tell them straight up, the only way I want you to do this is if it's a win. Win for you, win for me. When I sold, again, win for you, win for us. No business, like real business that wants to succeed and prosper, according to my definition, like prosperity is a win-win. No business wants money if it's not truly a win. I want you to win. I want my clients to win. I want people in my industry to win. I want my wife to win. I want my boys to win. And I believe that when it's a win-win, it creates that third win. Win for me, win for my client, or win for my wife, win for my family, win for you. Then it means that's a win for the community. Imagine what this world would look like if people walked around in terms of the abundant mentality and in terms of creating value for other people and in terms of win-win. Like, think about that. Look at how, like, life would change. Governments, man, what would happen if the government just started to say, hey, let's do a win-win? If politicians began to say, let's do win-win, instead of all this bashing, because the last time I checked, putting someone down did not raise you up. So what would you do as a result of this conversation today? Take a look at your life right now and ask, where can I create a win for other people? And where can I say no deal if it's not truly a win? Where can I create a win for my family or my employees, my clients? Even if you're an employee, say, well, how can you create a greater win for the company you work for? Right? That's some guy who's providing you a job. They're taking on the risk. Win-win or no deal. Win-win is the only way to play business. Win-win is the only way to play life. It's your boy Satem Mangala reminding you, if you want to create a life that you love, a life of real radical results, it will require you to get into a relentless pursuit with a ruthless commitment to pay the piper every single day to get to the top of your mountain, where your promised land prize and possibilities are waiting, just waiting for you. The revolution has begun. I'm out. For more info on joining the revolution and living your greatest life of prosperity today, go to www.yourdailyrevolution.com and join us in waking up, turning your brain on, and prospering today.